Welcome to this video lecture entitled Caste in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development. So actually, this is a paper presented by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar at Columbia Anthropology Seminar, an anthropology seminar. So the first part of the video lectures, we talked about genesis of caste. Dr. Ambedkar, he concluded, and as per the views of Ambedkar, he considered caste means it is endogamy. So endogamy is the only essence of caste according to him. The only characteristics that is peculiar to caste, according to him, this is a very peculiar thing related to caste. So exogamy was practiced in India from the ancient time onwards. But the superposition of endogamy on exogamy, it creates the institution of caste, a very complex issue. So we have discussed these things in the part 1 video. Then we'll move towards the mechanism of caste, how it was institutionalized in India. So mechanism of caste, it involves a various social, cultural and religious practices. They are all designed to maintain and perpetuate the hierarchical structures of the caste systems in India. It's a way of the strategy. Mechanism means a way, a strategy of imposing or practicing caste in India. So the central to the mechanism of caste, maybe the way the caste is perpetuated, maintained in India is through the practice of endogamy means. Endogamy, in avoiding the absence of intercaste marriage, it advocates marriage only within the caste itself only. So successfully practicing the endogamy, we have to maintain a balanced sex ratios. Now, so balanced sex ratio means, imagine there is a community, there are 100 men are there and 100 women are marriageable men and women are there. Then it is possible this ratio, balanced sex ratio, it helps to maintain the practice of endogamy. So all the 100 individual men, they have the partner, they can choose from the 100 female, 100 women in the same community. So if the man and woman number ratio is same, it is helpful. It upholds the practice of endogamy. Very easily we could practice it. So if the ratio, there is a disturbance, it's a threat to the practicing of endogamy. Again, it's a very great threat to maybe maintaining, perpetuating caste systems in India. So central threat to caste systems as per Ambedkar views is surplus man and surplus woman. Surplus man and surplus woman here means this is excess only. There are 100 men. If 100 men in the community, for any natural disasters, if any men die, and here the ratio of women is increased, then 5 men die, imagine. So 95 men are there in the society and 100 women are there. Then 5 women are excess. So these 5 women, they pose a very threat to that, very complex threat to that, the endogamy systems, because there are chances that this 5 women, they could marry the eligible, marriageable man in the same community. Then it creates a competition. Otherwise, these 5 women, they can marry outside the caste systems and they can violate the system of endogamy and they can reproduce offspring and the caste systems is slowly it is going to eradicate. So the surplus man and surplus woman, it constitute a central threat to the caste systems in India. Yes. So in Hindu systems, these are all considered as evil practices. Maybe at present, the 21st century, maybe the Reformation's time itself, the Renaissance period in India, that is early 18th and 19th centuries onwards, these practices are considered as evil practices. They are sati, enforced widowhood and child marriages. But in the previous, maybe the ancient time when the systems they were introduced, they were all considered. Now we could think that these are all evil practices. Our ancestors were all ignorant. Without knowing that the evil side of these practices, they practiced these things in their society. The practice were existed. But actually, this notion is wrong according to Ambedkar. These were all strategy. These were all strategy employed by the hierarchical group in the society to impose or to perpetuate the caste systems of endogamy in India. So the evil practices, initially the interesting thing about is that there are many theses, many philosophies are there about these evil practices, and all these notions initially it glorified the concept of sati, it glorified the enforced widowhood, it glorified child marriage. For example, sati, after the husband, the deceased husband dead, the woman is burned into that husband's fire, stating that it's a kind of a reunion, unity in that death itself also. Enforced widowhood, a kind of a celibacy is entrusted on women, stating that the woman sacrificed everything out of love for the husband, and child marriage to ensure that the purity of the virginity of the girl in its marriage. In all angles, these practices were initially glorified and honored. The reason is that just for the sake of then only people they practice all these things. So if it is evil, the negative side, the grim side is exposed, people they won't practice it. So initially all these practices were glorified and honored. So through these evil practices only, and the endogamy was maintained in India successfully. Okay. For example, if we take the case of surplus woman, the first most preferred choice, the practices to maintain surplus woman is sati only. So burning the widow on the funeral pyre of the deceased husband. So this practice is the most preferred practices. So it is a very maybe authenticated practices also. There is no threat in the society. So, but this is very hard. This practice is quite convenient. It's quite easy, but this is a very harmful practice. So, society there is a disturbance to accept this kind of practices. So, next to this sati, enforced widowhood was introduced. So it allows a widow to remarry. So maybe it doesn't give any permissions. It prohibits a widow to remarry in the society. So these two practices are very helpful, and they were created intended to solve the problem of surplus women in the society inside the caste systems. And next is surplus men. So the burning of widow, or maybe the past previously referred to practices, sati and enforced widowhood. This is considered as a very dangerous in the case of for men, where to solve the problem of surplus men, because in society man is hierarchy, man is superior, woman is inferior. So all women became prey to all the social injustice. So just to solve the problem of surplus man and society, they did not maybe permit, they did not recommend these two practices, sati and enforced widowhood. So it cannot be done. Sati cannot be simply done because he is a man, he is superior to society. And if done, maybe the great soul is lost to the caste. So man is considered superior as well as the greatness in the society. If a man is thrown in the fire, if a man is simply put down in that fire, it is a great loss to society. Considering this fact, man has the privileges, man enjoy the privileges. So the next option to solve the surplus man is they have invented other practice that is known as child marriage, that is girl marriage. So within this caste systems, maybe a girl who does not enter into that the age of marriage they have chosen, and the girl is married to that woman. So girl marriage was maybe the customs. It is practiced to solve the problem of surplus man in the society. So when we look at that, the underlying logic behind these, maybe solving the problem, to perpetuate, to continue the caste systems in India, endogamy is used. Many social practices were followed to maybe to guarantee that the practice of endogamy. So Ambedkar's analysis maybe highlights that the gender nature of these customs. So man and he is a dominant positions and men were given a socially acceptable positions to remain within their caste through their child marriage. But women on the other hand, they face very harsh and inhuman practices like subtly enforced widowhood and to ensure that they did not disturb the caste systems entirely. So we could witness a kind of a so Ambedkar's view, Sati, enforced widowhood and child marriage, they're all a strategy, to solve the problem of surplus men and women within the caste systems. These practices were essentially for maintaining a strict endogamy and which is crucial for preserving caste systems in India. So Ambedkar and he critique and Ambedkar's this paper highlights that the oppressive gender natures of these customs. Thank you.